This is Supply House Times editor Mike Miazga, joined right now by UnleashWD's Dirk Beveridge. Good to see you.
Mike, good to see you.
In any part of the supply chain, salespeople, salesforce, sales managers, hugely important to the success of a company, whether you're a manufacturer or a manufacturer's rep or a distributor. How do you, in this, with the current change in economy, current times, how would you classify how important it is to have the proper sales force in place?
Yeah, great question, Mike. I think now is a perfect opportunity for businesses, distributorships, manufacturers, the other readers you've got, to use this as an opportunity to really sit down and evaluate the sales organization, the systems and the structures that are in place, and to truly ask, is the sales team and the way we are going to market going to be relevant going forward? And Mike, for the last 25 years, I've spent my life in the right-hand seat of the car with salespeople, observing what they, both good and bad, what sales organizations are doing. And what I have found is this, is that 90% of the world's sales organizations, 90% of the world's salespeople, Mike, are using outdated and antiquated selling skills. Now that's 90%, all right? We can look at that simplistically in this way. I think you and I can agree that the profession of sales has evolved away from a product orientation to a customer-focused orientation. Yet, as I say, you come with me next week, I'll go with you. We'll spend time in the field together, Mike, and we would make joint calls with different sales organization salespeople. And what we would find is the first thing most salespeople do when they get in front of the customer is they talk about the product, right? Now, the profession has evolved from a product orientation to a customer-focused orientation. Still, 90% of the world's salespeople are going in there focused internally on their own needs to sell a certain product, to make a close, and they start off with product. It's outdated, it's antiquated, we need to get beyond that.
That's a pretty staggering number. Yeah. Now you've come up with kind of the spectrum, one end to the other, the types of salespeople that you've observed out there. Can you kind of maybe touch on, maybe the real bad end to the
Sure.
the real good end?
Yeah, thank you. And so it is a staggering number, 90%, right? And so some of your viewers might be saying, this guy's crazy, this guy's nuts. So if you're thinking that way, let me paint these 4 different profiles, this evolution of selling skills, and then you can ask yourself, how do I see my people today? And where do they need to be? And do you see your people in this evolution? So the first evolution of salespeople, Mike, is who I call a commercial visitor, all right? This is that fun-loving, joke-telling individual. And you know what? 40% of the world's salespeople still believe that their primary purpose is to get the customer to love them. I mean, in distribution, every day we still hear the conversation about this being a relationship business. Now, that may or may not be true, all right? But my problem is our definition of the word relationship. We're using a 1960s definition of relationship. If I can get the person to like me, if I can get them to be friends, if I bring them enough donuts, if I take them golfing enough, he's going to buy from me. 40% of the world's salespeople are using that. The second is who I call the product-oriented peddler. 50% of the world's salespeople believe that their competitive advantage is their product and their price. 50% of the world's salespeople go to bed every night praying to God that the company finds a way to get the best possible product at the lowest possible price. And their thinking is, you want me to sell this, management? You get me a better product at a cheaper price, and then I can sell this stuff. 50%. And those type of salespeople are in trouble because they haven't internalized a fundamental rule of business that says we will never again long-term have a competitive advantage in product or price, right? But they are praying for it to happen. So 90% are using outdated selling skills.
How about the other side?
Yeah, thanks. So who are they going to be competing against, right? They're first going to be competing against who we call the consultative sales individual. Now, consultative selling, ready, was first written about in the July-August 1960 issue of the Harvard Business Review. Okay, that's a lot of years ago. Yet today, only 8% of the world's salespeople have achieved this level. Some people say it's frightening. I think it's a tremendous opportunity if we help our sales team achieve this consultative level before our competition. So what differentiates a consultative sales individual? One, a consultative sales individual, rather than being product-oriented like the product peddler, they're customer-oriented. And what that means is every single contact with a customer, their purpose, their primary intent is to identify the customer's needs from the customer's point of view. You know, one more time, it's to identify the customer's needs from the customer's point of view. Our point of view is I got a warehouse full of stuff that I need to sell. Customer doesn't care what you got on the warehouse. That customer has needs to improve productivity. They have needs to improve profitability. They have needs to reduce costs. They have a whole bunch of needs. The counselor is going to spend at least 50% of his or her time probing, questioning, researching to truly understand the needs of that customer. And once they do, they're then going to put together value-added, problem-solving solutions that have been customized to the needs that have been identified. Okay? And then number 4 is, Mike, who we call the sustaining resource. Sustaining resource. Only 1 or 2% of the world's salespeople are there. Pardon. You know, if you look in the book, the dictionary, sustaining means ongoing. Resource means somewhere from which to draw from. A sustaining resource, you own your customer, you own your marketplace. The day you're perceived to be a tap that the customer can turn on and off and draw ideas and solutions to help their business move forward. Who is this person? First, the commercial visitor. You know what I found out about sustaining resources? They have the congeniality of the commercial visitor. Second, they are a student of the business. They know this product inside and out. They know the industry inside and out. And 3, they have that problem solving, that customer centricity of the counselor. So they've integrated all 3 of those. But beyond that, Mike, they have 2 additional, what I call over and above characteristics. Number 1, they go beyond problem solving and they actually become problem preventers in the eyes of the customer. They spend so much time with their key accounts. You can't do this with all your accounts. But you know, when you look at all the work out of Texas A&M and you take a look at all the cost to serve models and all that, when they take a look at those core customers, those 20% that generate 80% of the profit potential, we are going to work so closely with those customers. We're going to spend so much time and invest to understand that business from the inside out, where I'm going to be able to bring ideas and solutions to problems that the customer never even knew they had. And then the second is they're perceived to be an unpaid staff member in the customer's employ. Tremendous opportunity for distribution sales organizations who take a look at their sales organization, say, where are we today, where do we need to be, and how much time do we have to get there?
Great advice.
Thanks, Mike.